A blooper is a short clip from the movie or video production, usually a deleted scene containing a mistake made by the cast or crew. It also relates to an error made by a person during the shooting of movies, dramas, TV series, and reading live news. An outtake, also known as a blooper, is a short clip or a scene that was recorded but not included in the final version of the product, such as movies, TV series, and reading news, etc. Marvel Studios is known for their machine-like approach to making movies. But here's 25 bloopers from MCU movies that make them even better. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is the most successful movie franchise in history, but even the often discussed Marvel machine couldn't stop these bloopers from happening. Marvel Studios has been releasing some of the biggest movies on an annual basis since 2008, and it's all part of one giant shared universe of connectivity. However, pulling off success at this magnitude is no easy task. Every single MCU film goes through a similar production timeline, barring rare exceptions like Iron Man 2's rushed development, or the last-second director switch on Ant-Man. After going through development and pre-production, Marvel Studios traditionally begins filming their movies about a year out from their intended release dates. Once filming begins, it's up to the directors and actors to deliver an adequate product, but not everything can go according to plan. Screen Rant's latest video takes a look at 25 bloopers from Marvel movies, but in more ways than one. While most associate movie bloopers with takes that have gone bad, there are also small mistakes that can be made too that fits this definition. The video contains bloopers of all kinds, whether it's a stray goat causing Danai Gurira to break character in Avengers Infinity War, or using cassette tapes for Awesome Mix Volume 1 and 2 that weren't even created yet. Check out the video at the top of this post for all of our selections. Traditional movie bloopers are impossible to avoid no matter how much planning or preparation is taken, as some are even just the result of actors breaking character for a joke just to add some levity to the long days of filming. These types of videos are oftentimes attached to the home release of Marvel movies too, such as the one for Infinity War. As for the other types of bloopers, these are just constant reminders that there's always something that gets overlooked when making movies of this size. Thankfully, all of these bloopers are either so minor that they don't really matter, or just great ways to get an inside look at the production of a Marvel film. These are the biggest movies in the world in many cases, so even though there can be a certain amount of pressure that comes with that, it's nice to see the actors still enjoying their time on set. If they aren't having fun bringing these characters to life and creating these movies, it could come through in their performances and negatively impact the films. So whether you're watching actual bloopers or spot a minor oversight, just enjoy them for what they are. Cooper Hood is a news and feature writer for Screen Rant. He joined Screen Rant in late 2016 following a year-long stint with MCU Exchange, which came after first developing an MCU blog of his own. He graduated college in 2016 with a bachelor's degree in media and public communication, with a minor in media production. Cooper's love for movies began by watching Toy Story and Lion King on repeat as a child, but it wasn't until the Avengers that he took an invested interest in movies and the filmmaking process, leading him to discover the world of film journalism. Every year, Cooper looks forward to seeing the latest blockbusters from the likers of Marvel, DC, and Star Wars, but also loves the rush to catch up on Oscar films near the end of the year. When he isn't writing about or watching new releases, Cooper is a fantasy football obsessive and looking to expand his Blu-ray collection, because physical media is still king. Follow Cooper on Twitter at @MovieCooper. Avengers Endgame is a 2019 superhero film based on the Marvel Comics superhero team of the same name. The film is a sequel to the Avengers, Avengers Age of Ultron, Avengers Infinity War, Ant-Man, and the Wasp, and Captain Marvel. It is the 22nd film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the 10th installment of Phase 3. The film was released in the United States on April 26, 2019, and re-released under the title Avengers Endgame with bonus content on June 28, 2019. Here are some of the bloopers from the movie. Rhodes lists several time travel-themed movies in which someone changes the past and thereby changes the future. However, he mentions 4 movies that go against his argument. He mentions Star Trek, whose time travel theory is actually very similar to this movie. When Spock Prime traveled to the past, all the changes made did nothing to affect his own timeline. However, he still sought to make sure that the newly created timeline remained somewhat similar to his own. He then mentions 3, The Terminator, Somewhere in Time, and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, which follow the theory of the feedback loop or predestination paradox, which states that anything done by a time traveler to change the past ironically causes the future to unfold the way it is always done. As Black Widow and Hawkeye are leaving Morag, Nebula is commenting on the coordinates for Vormir. During this line, the side shot of her, it appears that her right ear's makeup is incomplete, despite other shots surrounding these scenes showing her ear normally. In Tony's recording after the final battle, he states that if someone told him 10 years ago that we weren't alone in the universe, he would find it difficult to believe. That math only works in the real world with the MCU movie release dates. In the movie, it is established that the Battle of New York from the Avengers 2012 happened in 2012. Avengers Infinity War 2018 happened in 2018. And majority of Avengers Endgame 2019 takes place 5 years later in 2023. This would make Tony's statement of 10 years ago take place a year after the Battle of New York, where the Avengers fought an army of Chitauri aliens and Tony himself flew into space to destroy their spaceship. After Barton stabs Akiko with his sword, the camera pans out to reveal Black Widow watching. If one looks down at Akiko, the actor Hiroyuki Sanada is visibly moving and breathing. At approximately 24 minutes into the movie, when Ant-Man is walking with the wagon on the dirty block and asks the kid what happened here, referring to all the mess and garbage, in the far background you can see that the other streets are clean.